Hey guys, this is my Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. As some of you know, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is my most anticipated game since I bought an Xbox 360 specifically for Lost Odyssey back in 2007. Ahead of its release on April 24, 2025, I was given access to a preview demo of the game. I have spent over 10 hours scripting, speaking, recording, re-scripting, speaking, and recording, trying to figure out how to gather my thoughts in a way that doesn't sound like me just telling you I'm in love. Oh my gosh, because that's exactly how I feel. I have completely unrealistic, super skyrocket high expectations for this game, and the demo that I got to play has blown me away. So after spending so much time and not figuring out a way to do this, I think what I need to do is go unscripted. So I'm going to take my footage from my playthrough of the demo and I'm going to step through it, but I'm not just going to play the whole thing because that would be way too long, because I think I have like 3 hours or something, maybe 4. And I will just sort of go scene by scene and then sort of talk about things as they occur and then give you my more extended thoughts as I let it just play a little bit in the background. So hopefully this video won't be too long, but it is going to be quite exhaustive because there's just so much I feel about this game, and writing it down is proven to be impossible. I do have a few notes here just in case you haven't heard of this game. The elevator pitch: it is a high fidelity turn-based RPG, and one that includes real timing based action for attacking, evading, parrying, and jumping over enemy attacks. So instead of just slugging it out through stats, like through your levels, you can actually use action, like real-time action during a turn-based game. It's got a star-studded cast with voices from Charlie Cox, Jennifer English, Christy Ryder, Andy Serkis, Ben Starr, and more. And overall, the theme is this imaginative dark fantasy world set in Belle Epoque France. Vibrant and colorful environments, world maps, meaningful items to find in side paths, and an astounding soundtrack that they've been publishing all the songs on YouTube when they do trailers. The music is just unbelievable. And really, that's what their goal was. The developers, only a team of like 30-something people. They're making this now in Unreal Engine 5, and their whole goal was to make a high-fidelity turn-based RPG, which is a game, genre that they love, and they just feel has been kind of abandoned. So the demo starts out like any other good demo, which is a tutorial, just your basic movement, how to move the camera, the rules of engagement, how the battle works, and it works as a really nice area. It's really pretty. It's even got some side paths with some really interesting loot that you can get and equip early on in the game, which is really nice to see. And it's just overall, I think, paced really well. I won't walk you through everything because the combat in this game gets a lot more complicated than just my turn, your turn, dodge here and there. The one thing I do want to say, though, is that the mechanic of either parrying or evading or jumping over attacks is not just some gimmick that comes into play every now and then. It's actually very integral. So it keeps the battle feeling really fresh. While it is turn-based and you can strategize and come up with stuff like that, there is a lot of interaction that you do with the attacks, and the game isn't adding it as a bonus. It's making it pretty integral that you engage with the system. The tells are great, the rhythm's great, and overall the battle system is very snappy, the UI is very fast. None of the menus are nested, which means that if you know what move you want to do, you can just go boom, 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 and do it right away, which feels great. So you can watch other videos to get more details about the combat, but just know that Gustave, Lune, and Maël all control very differently, and they all have different mechanics that you can build around, and you'll be able to make them either aggressive, offensive, combo characters, fast, slow tanks, all sorts of things. And there's lots of ways to customize it around your personal play preference. Because the story is so integral, I want to show this next cutscene almost in its entirety, just so you can see what I'm seeing, which is just really great motion capture, performance capture, acting with the eyes, using pauses correctly, and you can just get so much out of the interaction between these characters. So hope you guys enjoy.
Wake up, Gustave.
Lune. The others.
I know. We're the only ones left. You don't get to die.
It's just a matter of time before we're already dead. Look around, look.
This is not a foregone conclusion. When one falls, we continue. Get up. We need to find a safer place. There are Nevrons around.
Lucian.
This is not the place. The Lumina converter seems intact. It's about time we test it in real conditions.
Putain.
So we get introduced to our second character here, Lune. She is awesome. She's kind of like the mage. So she has some spells that will build up like burn, which is just, it's a guaranteed. It's not like FF games where like sometimes they'll get it, sometimes they won't. There's a lot of synergy between the characters. Like there's moves that Gustav can do that cause burn, and there's moves that she can do that if an enemy is burning, then it has an extra effect and stuff like that. Overall, there's just a great amount of depth, and just the synergy between all the different techniques that you're able to unlock in the skill tree makes it kind of feel like a really well constructed Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh deck, where one character causes one status and then another character has a move that, you know, has extra effects if that status is applied and stuff like that. The developers go much more in detail in other clips about how different you'll be able to build out the different characters using their specific mechanics that are unique to them, and how they fully hope and expect that players will really take the over 100 different types of passive skills and offensive skills and just make and break and just have a fun with the system by the end of the game. Just like any other good RPG, whether it's on the world map or inside of a stage here, you have the ability to either just avoid enemies if you want to. It's not like random encounters. Or you can do this first strike. So if you can hit the enemy with that sort of R1 attack, you'll get first turn, which obviously is a huge boon. So they have this enemy set up very easily so you can initiate a first strike, and it just zips right into the battle with that. And here's just some footage of some random encounters with different enemies that I had. I love that the timing game is almost on everything. So like even if you want to buff a character, there's like a little timing and there's a cadence to it. And if you hit it right, instead of just buffing that one character, you'll buff the entire team. When you're healing, you can heal more if you time it right. And it's not a rhythm game, but you know what I mean? Like you get in the zone and you start to feel your way through the menus, and it just feels really good to execute. The game itself, though, is just absolutely gorgeous. It's running on Unreal 5. From the demo that I played, the performance was great and a lot lighter than a lot of other modern games that use that engine are. And I just like the amount of use of, you know, all the high contrast, the vibrant colors and stuff that they're doing here. Okay, at the end of this beautiful area is going to be our first area boss. This is going to teach us about shields, where enemies can cast shields on themselves or other enemies, and then you'll have to hit them a certain amount of times before you can start to damage them. And that all goes into how you're planning out your turns, how you're planning out your resources and stuff like that. So after leaving this first area, you get to what the developer was very excited to announce, which is a full-on world map. We're talking like old school JRPG. You'll be able to walk around, see enemies, find hidden stages, find hidden items, camp, save your game, customize stuff. They even showed in the trailer, if you watch for like the announcement trailers and stuff, like there's, you know, an NPC that can fly like a blimp or like an airship. This is basically the JRPGs of old. I'm in love. What can I say? And I love the sort of like tilt shift effect that they got going on. It makes it feel very fairy tale-ish with everything. Yeah, and anytime you can go into camp and there's some really cool interactions there. Here's the camp. I just skipped over a longer cutscene, which was pretty nice. But you can do stuff like rest, you can redo your stats. Later on, there's an NPC that'll join in the back that'll allow you to upgrade your weapons. It's almost like a Baldur's Gate 3 kind of feel. Being able to interact with characters, just check out the different environments and just the feeling and vibe of the place. You can look in your journal and read about the stories that have been going on, review stuff. It's just really nice to see this amount of effort put into what, you know, some games would just relegate to a menu. Okay, after we do some exploration on the world map, we're going to the second area that was in the hands-on preview, which is Flying Waters. This is such a cool and imaginative area. I just love the art direction. It feels like you're in the ocean, but without the water. And there's tons of like aquatic, just really great environmental sounds and things to interact with. Why it's kept relatively simple for this earlier area, I think just because it's tutorial. They have these like cool little treasure things called paint cages, where you'll find them and then you'll need to hunt around the area and find where the keys are, and then use your aim attack to shoot to break all the locks, and it'll unlock the item inside. And I just love this type of interactive environmental stuff. Interesting. I would like to see how complicated it might get, but everything going off all the paths were all really meaningful, cool items. Whether it was a new picto or skill to equip, sometimes even a new weapon if it was an offbeat monster that was not in the critical path. I always felt like it was worth the exploration. Again, if they don't add a mini-map, I do at least want them to have a compass, so because there was a few times where I did get myself backtracked a little bit. But hey, I ended up doing more battles and getting more experience, so that was cool. This next note will differ depending on your sensibility, but for me at least, I found that in the demo preview that the story just went places that were unexpected. Like I was going through the woods and all of a sudden something would happen. We're going in this sort of sea-like area. I wouldn't think that I'd be teleported to some majestic, like Dark Souls feeling like manor in which I would find my teammate and a mysterious NPC. And it's just a lot of stuff that just felt very, I don't know how to put it, unexpected and just very pleasing. I don't like things to feel like they are super predictable, so just the amount of weird turns this thing takes is just awesome. Without going too deep in it, Mael is very dynamic because she has stances. She'll start out stanceless, and then certain attacks that she do will throw her into a new stance, whether it be defensive, offensive, or like the really powerful virtuose stance, which will do massive damage. So the way that I like to play her is, you know, like for example, if I set an enemy on burn, then she's got an attack that when it's done against a burn enemy, it'll throw her into a specific stance where the next turn she can set up for a really big attack. Then afterwards she'll go into defensive stance and stuff like that. Just a really cool player, like character that you can do and different ways that you can play her. Certainly one of my favorites out of these three. She's probably my favorite.
That was fun, but I think we've had enough training today. You could come with us if you like.
Okay, for the very last cutscene that I'll show you with audio, before I sort of wrap up my thoughts here, and I know that I'm just rambling, is going to be Noco. I will die for this little thing. I love him so much. So I'm just going to let this play out because I just love this character so much. But this is what happens when you leave the manor.
We should go to the manor and maybe learn something.
Yeah, or we could get back to the Indigo Tree.
Noco's usually here. I wonder where...
Is that a gestural?
Stop that, you big hairy brush face. Can't you see they're human? Noco's a bit dramatic, but if you're nice, Noco will trade you lots of useful items for chroma.
So the tales are true. Perhaps the grandest in the SKA exist too. Are there more gestuals like you? I'd love to meet them.
Noco, you silly scruff. Their village is not far from here.
Oh, really?
Lune.
I know. Don't have time for detours.
Yeah, we need to get to the paintress.
The paintress? Oh, gonna cruise the marina. Go slow, pero no arriba.
There's another sea between here and the paintress.
Noco, as the best gestural merchant ever, I bet you know a solution, yeah?
Aha, mi
Come on, you broomhead, I know you know.
Broomhead. Burn, sulte. Bello, go creatura radio. Tengo miedo en cierto santuario. Arboreso battle, gonna me say.
Well, I guess you'll get to meet more Gestrels.
I want a doll of it. I would die for him. I love him. And as a merchant, you're actually able to fight him and unlock some hidden extra items that he's willing to sell you. I love the characterizations. Just to wrap things up, this area had a bunch of different areas with different aesthetics and things to explore, some great optional paths with some really neat rewards, and overall I just had a really good time. The enemies had very different cadence to them, very different rhythm to their attacks, so at first it was tough, but then as you face them more and more you get better. And I found myself just getting more attached to the battle system and how quick and snappy the menus were, and it almost started to feel like a real-time action game. Even though I had the benefits of the turn-based mechanic, I didn't get, it wasn't slowed down or anything by that at all, which was cool. This is why I call this like the modern-day Lost Odyssey. It's great. It's exactly what I wanted from a JRPG, only this is an FRPG because it's made in France. Anyway, the battle is great. I can gush about it forever, but we'll learn more as the game is getting closer to launch, but everything in here has just been really fun. There was actually one other optional boss that you can do from the world map, which was like, basically one hit would kill you. It does like 500 to 700 damage on every hit, which is kind of crazy. But its attack patterns were, learnable. So if you did it right and then you comboed right with Mael, with marking, with powerful and stuff like that, I was able to take it down. It took about 9 minutes with a lot of high focus, but it felt really good because when you know what you're doing and you can time it right, there's just something so satisfying about it. Imagine it would go faster if I got the timing down so well that I could do parries for all those. But unfortunately, I could do those little like tremor ones. The timing was pretty easy to remember. But the other ones, I just found it much more safer to evade than try to parry it. And yeah, so after a grueling fight, I finally took it down. I got an item so I can upgrade some weapons. And that is my hands-on with the preview. It's unbelievable. Like, I knew going into this that I would be hyped for it, the overall execution. But everything about the demo, from the story, the music, the battle, everything is just reconfirming that this is going to be such a special game. Anyways, I can't wait for this game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy expeditioning.